So, order ready, timer ready. Good afternoon, Toastmasters. Today I'm here to discuss to you the difference between a leader and a manager. These are two terms that are often untenable. You can't really tell the difference. They're used interchangeably, and that's not right. That's not what we should be doing. There is a distinct difference. So here's an overview. What is the difference? How do we see that in the real world? And how should we present that here at the Citadel? And how do we actually do it? So we'll go ahead and move on. The difference. The best definition I can see between a leader and a manager is a manager does things right and a leader does what's right. I'll say that again. A manager does things right and a leader does what's right. So if we're to put this in application, what does that mean? Well, to give you a few examples, it's February, it's Black History Month, and we have a fantastic example. Martin Luther King. He is known for several things. One being a fabulous public speaker. Everyone in here should study his I Have a Dream speech just for a technical aspect. And two, for standing up against something that was not right. He looked at the way the system was. He looked at the law and saw something that was not right. And he said, I'm going to strive to change this. Now we look at Hitler, and we look at his soldiers. And we've all heard of the Nuremberg trials, and we've all heard the common excuse, I was simply following orders. And under a legalistic sense, they were right. They were right. They were just following their orders. But no, they should have taken the MLK approach and stood up and said, no, I'm not going to tolerate that. That's not right. But they didn't. That is an example of the difference. So what about here at the Citadel? I don't know why you came here, but I definitely came here for something different. It wasn't the education. I can get that anywhere else. Definitely wasn't sports, because I'm not athletic. And it wasn't the uniforms. Well, it's a part of it. I came here for the military experience. That is the Citadel's coup de grace. That is what we sell. That is what we are. We are the Military College of South Carolina. And so what does that teach us to do? What is our mission here? If you take all the fancy verbiage out of our mission statement, we are here to build leaders. I said leaders, not managers. Men and women who do what's right, not just do things right. We're here to do this. How do we go about doing that? Well, those liberating flames of education fired by the bells of strict military discipline. And where do we get that? A liberal education. Now, let me go ahead and define something here for you. Liberal does not mean any sort of political affiliation. It doesn't mean that you are sitting down and reading socialist or Marxist or whatever doctrine you may negatively associate with the liberal political agenda. No, it's something different. So something I've seen lately in the academic world and the professional world is a focus on our STEM majors. That's our science, technology, engineering, and math. And that's great. And those guys they're needed. We need them. But what they lack is the ability to think. They're being trained to do something. I'm training them to build a building. I'm training them to understand the laws of physics. But are they thinking? Are they thinking? No, they are stuck in one single discipline. They don't even have to take foreign language. They don't have to take public speaking, which should be required of every college student here at this campus. They don't have to do that. They are in a very strict and confined space. So what I want for them to have is the ability to think. So what is a liberal education? If you look at the root word, liber is free. It's Latin for free. So it is free of just one discipline. Now, if you think of the word liberal arts, those are the individual disciplines within a liberal education that give you the background. So political science, history, English, women's studies, it's any societal study. It's free from one set definition. Liberal education, as defined by Calvin College, helps us to deal with the complexity, diversity, and change. As a leader, you're going to encounter complexity, diversity, and change. Not every situation is going to be the same. You're not going to run into a codified way of thinking every time. They even teach us that in Army class. They've been teaching us that doctrine isn't always applicable in every situation. It's flexible. They're saying, hey, in a situation like this, these steps may be appropriate, but we're going to give you the discretion. We're going to give subordinate discretion and room for judgment. It's the American way. If you look at the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, common sense, the Federalist Papers, and anything else that came out around the time of our country's founding, it is all based around a liberal education. We call it Enlightenment thinking. These men were not the men that were going to go out and do each individual task within the government. No, they were going to know a little bit about it, but know enough to lead, enough to think outside of the box and think through their problems. Now, what I've seen here, just this year at the school, is more of a codified, strict, stringent adherence to rules that may or may not need to be followed. Are we looking at our regulations as religious doctrine that is unflexible and unwavering? Or are we looking at them as regulations that need to change? I want you all to know that here on campus in the Rare Book Archives is a copy of every single regulation ever posted since 1842. Let me go ahead and tell you it's different. We don't have a lamp detail that goes around and lights the lamps around campus because Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Here at school, we cannot remain rigid. We cannot remain inflexible. We don't need managers. No, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to be officers and leaders. Thank you.